Welcome to Can't Stop the Pop, the podcast where we, that's me, Craig,
and me, Matty,
do a deep dive on a song from the 90s or noughties.
So, Craig, what song are we doing this week?
Well, we are talking about Coffee by Supersister. I'm not sure whether you've heard of this song, but it's got quite a following. However, we're not doing a normal episode because we have been joined by Louise from Supersister, fresh off of the Mighty Hoopla set, to talk about the song, to talk about the group, and to talk about the album.
Hello.
Hi, Louise from Supersister. How are you?
I'm really, really good. Thank you. I'm really well. Yes.
Thank you for joining us. We absolutely love you guys, and we particularly love Coffee. I mean, it's an anthem. I was dancing to it on Sunday at Hoopla, and it was just joyous.
I know. It really pulled a crowd, didn't it?
Oh, it was great.
It was so good. It was so good. And it's just for us to see it still pulling a crowd 25 years on is just like unbelievable.
Well, we've got a couple of deep dive questions for you, so let's get started.
Question. Let's talk about the song, iconic. When did you first hear it? What did you think?
Yeah, so when I first heard it, I was straight away drawn to the lead line in the chorus, which is, I like my man. When then, if you listen to It's Raining Men, it's exactly the same. And I straight away was like, that's so anthemic, because obviously It's Raining Man is just such a hit. But it wasn't made because of that. It's just how Sean wrote the song. And of course, I think that just leans into the whole anthemic nature of it. And we always knew that that was going to be the first release for Supersister, because it's very much how we were as a group of people, you know, very tongue-in-cheek, we're very naughty. And the way Sean wrote for us, it was very bespoke for us as people. He was going out with Tina, his sister was Eleanor, and he knew me. So it was very organic. We just used to all hang out together. So he knew our personalities. And with that came this side to him, which he was just like, you know, you should do this song. And so that's how it started.
Oh, amazing. Well, you talked a little bit about the cheeky nature of what you were like. The lyrics leave little to the imagination. It is sexual, but it's very tongue-in-cheek. But what were your thoughts on that? Because it's such great lyrics.
It is such great lyrics. And I think the story of how those lyrics were formed was Sean, who wrote the song, I think he used to work for the council in Sheffield, and he heard two women over the photocopier saying, oh, I think I'll have a coffee next. Oh, how do you like your men? Like you like coffee? And literally he just grabbed that hook line, and that's when he just was like, right, I'm going to write a song about it. And of course, the tongue-in-cheek nature of the song is what is so appealing. And all the songs on Lip Service, the album that we did, have got that. I don't know if you've listened to it, but we've got...
I have.
Yeah, there's lots of... Even the beautiful ballad of Summer Gonna Come Again, just the melodic verses and how he writes Summer Gonna Come Again, that in itself is a well-written line of a song. So he's always had that ability, which is really unique. He's an amazing songwriter.
That's really great.
I love that, and we will talk about Summer Gonna Come Again later. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I rewatched the video for Coffee and I did not see any coffee in it. I saw some wine and I saw some water. How did this oversight occur?
I actually feel like the coffee culture hadn't really started then. I really feel like it's been in the last 10, 15 years of Starbucks and Costa and everything else. If it had have been, we would have definitely had a coffee deal or something, around that time. I just remember saying to our management, do you think if we rang Nescafe, we could like get some kind of deal? I don't know, a year's free Nescafe. And of course, that was the leading coffee brand at the time. So I just think we were just before our time, to be honest.
Damn it, there could have been a Starbucks or a Costa deal in there.
100%. Imagine, we'd have just got all these deals through.
Like Nespresso. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter had nothing
yes.
on Supersister. There we go.
No, I know.
So the song peaked at number 16 in the UK. You were a new act and you were competing against a lot of girl bands at that time. So what was the expectation?
You know what? It's a really interesting story because our midweek chart position, I think it was 10. And what happens is you get told your midweek chart position on a Monday. And then you have literally all week to kind of secure for the chart on the Sunday. And we had a meeting with Top of the Pops, maybe on the Tuesday night. So it came to our hotel, the guy, and we really need that slot on Thursday to secure a top 5 position for the song. And he went, yeah, but, there's other bands out there that just need a little bit more exposure than you. And I was like, like, which one? And he goes, well, there's a band out there at the minute. He said they've had no radio play, they've had no TV, they've had nothing. And he goes, I just feel really sorry for them. And I just think that I'm going to give them a shot. And we were literally begging with him, we need Top of the Pops. We need to get like a top 3, top 5. And that's what's missing. And he didn't go with us because he thought that Coffee was so secure that it would do well on its own.
Wow.
And he gave this other band the slot. And guess what band it was? Baha Men. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Exclusive, a scandalo.
Scandal, yes. But that just goes to show the power of the TV and the radio at the time. I'm basically swiveling on one person's decision.
Yeah.
It was really, really tough for us that week because as a result, we never secured Top of the Pops. I don't think we had a Saturday morning TV book because we'd done so much promotion for Coffee. We'd promoted Coffee all year. All the bands, all the road shows were like, congratulations, you have a number 1 hit. You've literally done your job so well. You have exploited this song so much. Everyone's bored of it. As in the industry, they'd all heard it. We'd sang in every gay club 20 times over. It was definitely going top 3. But it just shows you just needed that little slot on the Top of the Pops at the time. And you don't need that now.
I mean, our show is all about 90s and noughties, and a lot of what we talk about is the difference of the music industry then compared to now for pop acts to be exposed and what it takes to be successful. That's such a shame. I said to Craig, I was like, I want to do Coffee by Supersister on season 3 because when I was at university, it seemed like it was everywhere. It seemed like it was in every gay bar that I was going out to as a young gay man.
We did the university tours as well. We did everything.
I was probably there. So on our next question is, how did it all start with the 3? You said you were all friends, but what was the spark in the moment where you was like, we're going to be a girl band?
Well, Tina and Eleanor were in a girl group already called Supersister. There was another member and she was the kind of like, she was driving it on in a completely different direction. And when I came on board, I was like, I want to be in the band as well. And me and Eleanor met through doing work. I lived on the Wirral. They all lived in Sheffield. I then moved over to Sheffield because I was desperate to be in a girl group. I went to school with Lee from Steps. I auditioned for Atomic. I know, he's like my best mate. And then I auditioned for Atomic Kitten. I was told I was too old. So when this opportunity came along, I was like, I'm really going for this. But we met with a manager and he was just like, the direction this needs to go in was very much using her music, this 4th member. And I didn't really like the music. So we kind of like made a decision that we would go with Sean's music, and that kind of like lent us to being more of a threesome and just working towards that line of pop. That's pretty much how we met. And we were like together for about 2.5 years before we got our record deals. No, there was a lot we were sweating the hard stuff. Like we were rehearsing in a titanium factory in Sheffield. We all had side jobs. And this is why it was so organic and almost, I think we worked so hard for our record deal, and then when we got it, we like lasted Coffee for so long. We were literally burnt out by the end of it, and that's why we disbanded naturally. But we weren't dropped or anything like that. We were just losing the will to live. It was just inevitable because when you start promoting a song or being a band, you kind of gym in on the music industry at that particular time. And it was a very pivotal time, because then they all started picking up instruments, Busted were coming out, it all just changed again. And we just had the Spice Girls. So the Spice Girls really were the queens of pop and gave us permission to be able to do what we wanted to do, but they'd come to the end of their term almost, when Jerry left. So yes, which is why I love it now, because it's like, oh my God, it just shows what the songs that we were doing were just classic pop hits. And it stayed, on people's playlists and things all this time.
It's been on my gym playlist for about 15 years, babe. I could be looking as macho as I can be, and then in my head I'm listening to Coffee.
It's a pretty big song in America for a line dancing song. Like they
Is
line
it?
dance Coffee. Yeah, it's just straight people line dance to this song.
Little do they know.
Little do they know.
I know. I'd love to go to America and yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Can we talk a little bit, because you toured with Steps and Hearsay, didn't you?
And S Club 7.
What is life like as a support act? Because I think everyone probably thinks it's really glamorous and you get to hang out. What is it actually like?
It's really hard work. It's really hard work in the sense that with Hearsay, it was a 36-day arena tour. So you don't really socialise with the band an awful lot. They're treated like the Beatles almost. I mean, especially with Hearsay, for example. I mean, they were catapulted into fame. They couldn't go anywhere. And they were really, really famous at that time. So it was very much, they were in their little bubble of doing it. And we were just hard grafting Sheffield girl group, we were like hanging out with all the backstage lighting rig guys and everything, we're just normal people. So yeah, it's just obviously a massive commitment to your schedule, and you just perform to 10,000 people, every night of the week.
As you do.
It's a job. It's a job that's really good, and you learn a lot about working the stage, what's good, what works, what doesn't. It really helps you learn your trade, I suppose. But no, it was really, really good fun. We loved it.
That's awesome. I just love all these little stories. This is brilliant. Well, you mentioned before about Lee from Steps is one of your best mates. I mean, you should support them when they do their 30th anniversary tour, which we're all manifesting for 2027. Supersister should do it.
I know. To be honest with you, I don't see Lee anymore now. Yeah, I mean, we used to be like back in the day, but I'm still so happy for him. He's just done so well. I saw him backstage. They were performing. I don't think we supported Steps on their tour. It was just like a one-off gig that we did. And I saw him and he literally picked me up and spun me around. He was just like, oh my God, can you believe this? And the weird thing was that Spike from 911 was also in our class. We were
Stop it.
Yeah, I swear. So he was like, what about Spike and me and you? And this like weird, because obviously when we were at drama school and like musical theatre, they were doing the dance. I was doing the singing and acting, and they were not singers. They were dancers. So I'm like, I didn't even know you could sing, Lee. And he was like, I know, it's Mars. But yeah, he's done so well. The both of them have done so well.
After you released Coffee, you released 2 more singles. You released Shopping tune and Summer Gonna Come Again. Can you just talk a little bit about Summer Gonna Come Again? Because it is just so different to what the other songs were like.
I can take the cold, I can take the rain, I can take almost anything, 'cause I know summer gonna come again.
That was always our album clincher. That was the one that we wanted people to listen to and go, yeah, they're not just a one-hit wonder. I want to invest in this band now. I want to see what they can give on an 11-track album. And to be honest with you, I think at that point, managerial-wise or record company-wise, whatever the direction was, there'd just been a downturn in how we were getting presented. And again, I think the climate had changed for girl pop groups. There were 76 girl bands launched the year that we came out. I mean, I think everyone was just like, oh my God, another girl group. So you can imagine being an exec on a radio show or a TV, just going, what? Who are they again? Like, what? It just felt like Summer was our album clincher. But it charted really poorly. And at that point, you might as well have just stuck a pin in us. At that point, we were just like, oh no, that was meant to be the best one. And it still is an amazing, amazing ballad. And it's so well written. Again, if it was just played on a massive TV show, if it had massive exposure, the public would love it. And then it'd become amazing. But if you can't reach them, you can't reach them.
If Atomic Kitten had come out with that song a few years later,
Yeah.
radio would have been all over it. People would have been all over that song. It's just, like you say, it's timing and trends and...
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the album. It's now out through streaming, and you've performed at Hoopla.
Mm-hmm.
How did this all happen? Just for people who maybe don't know, is the album a mixture of old and new? How has it been put together?
We signed originally a 5-album deal, so we got a really nice selection of, I think it's 11 tracks, and put them on the album lip service. We released Coffee, Shopping, Some Are Gonna Come Again, and I think Lock Your Boyfriends Up, but there was Catch a Dream on there as well. So when we got with Eleanor last September, she was just on her yearly trip home from Australia. And we just said, wouldn't it be great, if you could do one gig, what would it be? And she said, I'd do a really good festival. And I said, well, Mighty Hoopla is the best one to do. And I said, shall I tag them? So we tagged them. And Glenn, who is the owner of it, he completely picked up on it. And he messaged me and he said, there's an offer in your inbox. So that was amazing because obviously it's just such a big event. And it was the perfect event for us.
It was so good.
Yeah, it really, really was. But the funny thing was, we were like, no one's really seen us or heard from us in a long time. We could have really gone a bit wild or a bit off the rails. And I think it was a nice opener for them to go, oh yeah, they're still okay. Oh, they can still move. Oh, they can still sing. Oh, that's good. I think now that people know that we're around and about and just bubbling away in the background a bit, it would be nice to do some more gigs. And it would be even better to do Hoopla in the evening. We could do it like a little bit later on. That would just be amazing.
As someone that was there, I was arriving as you were starting, and I felt for you with the first slot on the Sunday because it's when people are arriving. But you did so well, and I just loved the fact that I couldn't believe, I thought it'd just be the three of you, but then you brought out the 8 dancers, and I was like, wow, okay, they have gone to town. This is a full production.
We just needed, the capacity that stage has got, we did really well for the first act on. But if they had said to us, I don't know, Lulu's not turned up, can you go on main stage or do a bit later, we would have had the place jumping. We had such a good reception. I loved it, but I want to do it again, and I want to do it bigger and better.
Well, I think that if anyone's seen the videos that people, and I put a video up of you straight away, it was straight up on our socials. I just think people need to be like booking you for this Pride or that Pride or things like that to perform, because you've got a show ready to go. I love that you say that you tagged them, because me and my delusion had it in my head that because we did a TikTok about Supersister about a year and a half ago, that was the reason why you'd been booked for Hoopla. I said, Craig, I think we manifested this because we did this TikTok about you, and then you started the page with our video, and we were like, oh my god, thank you. And what's really funny, Louise, I got a message from someone who I know back on the Wirral, who I went to school with, Ben, and he was just like, I know someone that works in this salon, and she was in a girl band, and she said that you're talking about them on TikTok or something like that.
To be honest with you, I kind of feel it's been an accumulation of lots of people tagging and posting stuff and doing things because I think the time is right. It's funny because I remember must have been about 2008, 2009. I was out, and I've always had this been like, coffee's never had its time. Coffee needs to be bigger. It's just like, and someone said to me, you need to let it go. It was what it was in 2000, and that's it. And I just remember thinking, no, you're wrong. No, not at all. Sorry if I swore, but it's definitely
we'll bleep out.
Bleep it out. But it's definitely not been its time. But I suppose, so all of us have always had this undercurrent that it's never quite reached the capability that it should have had. But yet, Tina said when we were in Anglesey discussing this, she was like, the time feels right now. And I was like, does it? And I think we did try in 2020, but it was COVID. So the timing was all wrong because it's those momentous 20 years, 25 years. And I think now, on Sunday, when we performed, it felt right. The dancers, everything was in alignment with us. You know, you were there, like what you've done and said about us and stuff has just been amazing. And I kind of think collectively, everyone kind of doing that energy has brought it to something. And off the back of that, we've got 2 or 3 more gigs.
Amazing.
Which has just come out pretty much in the last week or two. So that's good. We want to just give the song the best platform we can possibly give it. And whilst we've got the energy, and, you know, I had breast cancer 2 years ago. So it was a really shit time. And I kind of felt like, oh God, you know, I really need to get through it. And I've got through it and I'm fine. And that in itself is something where you just sit back and go, do you know what? I still want to give it as much as I can. And
I love that.
You know, just for everybody who had their first kiss to it, first dance to it, first anything to it, it's now become a thing, hasn't it? It's still relevant, and I don't want it to put it to bed. I want it to go on forever.
And you shouldn't, because we talk about this a lot. You said the 20 and the 25 year probably being, I think, the peak level of nostalgia for the kind of millennial people of when they remember something. And it does feel like the right time for things to have a resurgence. And if I go on TikTok or I go on Instagram, and the vast majority of things I follow are all pop culture anyway, the amount of times that your song comes up now and gets tagged in things is massive. And I just think you have to follow that momentum, whether it's that people go, oh yeah, I liked that song, or whether it's they absolutely loved it. I think it's great. Book all of them gigs. Get coffee and an espresso advert. Get it there.
That's what we need. We need an advert. It just needs someone somewhere to go, I'm going to use that. I mean, I'd love it on RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, something like, I know.
Oh my God, it should be a lip sync.
It should.
Season 7, get it on. I think it's recording now. Like,
is it? Yes. I know we'll have to tag him.
Do it. Say
it works.
When is the lip sync to Coffee? Oh. Craig, you had a question about the album.
We want people to stream Lip Service because it's out now. So, other than the singles, which other song would you want people to hear?
Ooh, that's a good question. I really like Flick the Switch.
My baby, when he flicks the switch, my life goes on and I can fly. My baby, when I think he's done, he turns me on and I get high. My baby, when he flicks the switch, my life.
Flick the Switch is a really good song. It's naughty, it's tongue-in-cheek. Vocally, it starts really low and it goes really high. It's a challenging one, but it's a fun song. And also, disco dance if you like more the Coffee kind of feel.
You don't need nobody to hold your hand when you dance. Disco dance, I wanna see you dance. Let the rest of the world chase the money. Disco dance, I want you to dance. Being happy is sweeter than honey.
You know, there's some really good songs, just true pop songs. If we did another album, there's a song called Fantasy Island, which I really want to record. We've only got it as a demo. But again, that was held back for the second album. So I was saying to the girls at the weekend, I was like, wouldn't you just love to go in the studio and do Fantasy Island? And like, oh my God, they would go crazy for it. You would all go mad for it.
Let's manifest this. The time is right.
You know, if you hear Fantasy Island at Hoopla next year, you'd be like, she was on the money with that one.
I love Lock Your Boyfriends Up. I think that is an absolute tune. I played it in my living room. My housemate was like, who's this? This is great.
Exactly what they want, exactly what they need. We're not holding back tonight, and if you know what's right, lock your boyfriends up.
There's 2 versions of that. We did the demo of it, which I prefer the demo. But when we went into the studio, the producer just changed it up and came out with that one that's on the album. But all the Supersisters and all the back management still loved the original demo. But I think we were just so up against time at that point. I think it was we were recording that album in Shoreditch when the Twin Towers happened. So it was one of those kind of like, right, we'll just go with that, because it was just a horrible day. It was just an
Oh my
awful,
God.
and we were meant to be performing at the Docklands that night with S Club. I think we cancelled the concert because of it. Yeah. Or I think S Club did as well.
I'm glad the song came out to light. I hope we get to maybe hear the demo, the version at some point.
Well, I think it'll make a B-side one day. Definitely.
There we go.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, our last question really, what is next for you guys? You said you've got a couple of gigs, but what would you really love to happen?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I would love to do Brighton Gay Pride. I'd love that to happen. There's a few gigs that I would like to do. We are doing Chesterfield Gay Pride, so we're really looking forward to that, because they've been asking us for years to do that. So we're like really looking forward to doing that, and that's nice and local one for us. And then we're back, I think we're going to go to Bethnal Green in London. We're going to do one there. For us, I think there just needs to be, in this climate, I don't know, maybe a little bit more TV presence, maybe talking about the human interest side of us, which is what we've been through as women. We're not just 25-year-olds on stage being cheeky pop anymore. We've now turned into mothers. We're all divorced. I've been through breast cancer. There's a lot more depth to us as people right now. And I kind of feel as if that would lean in towards more of the fun side of us, but also there's an angle to us which should be explored. And I think we've all got a lot to say about stuff. So just on a personal level, that's what I'd like to portray Supersister, as more of a super vocal women, what we believe in, how we support our communities and everything. Other than that, we're just working hard for our families, and do Mighty Hoopla next year for sure, and any other big gigs along the way. And obviously the record company have been so supportive to us. I know that they would love to get us back in the studio and do Fantasy Island or one of the others.
I'm waiting for this song now.
The door is open. Eleanor does live in Australia, so we do have a geographical nightmare. But she has said that she will always do this trip again, because she did it on her own without her kids, with her friend, and came over, and it worked. And she's currently in Mallorca having a lovely few days on the beach.
Oh.
So yes, we've kind of gone through it, and it's worked, and everyone's back at work this week. We were back into our normal lives, but we do have this alter ego of a Supersister. It just bubbles up in the background. It's just really good to make us feel good, and what we can do to put a smile on people's faces. It was so worth it to see everyone's faces and meet people on Sunday.
I was there with my clacky fan.
And I want to go there with merch next year. I just feel like we just need to do some Supersister merch. And now we understand it a lot more. I had a completely different layout in my head. It's just such a lovely park, such a great atmosphere down there. It was perfect.
It's great.
Yeah, it is really good.
Well, Craig, I think that's about all we got time for.
We could not have asked for more, and it's really nice to hear stories from that time with such clarity. Thank you so much for that. It really makes a huge difference, and people are really going to appreciate that.
Thank you. Good memories.
Thank you so much, Louise.
Thank you.
Please hang up and try your call again.
Well, Craig, that was amazing, wasn't it? Loved that.
I really enjoyed that. We always speculate about what it was like back then. I love hearing stories from people who were there and from people who can actually remember what it was like. And suddenly, I understand with the It's Raining Men thing, why the gays flock to coffee.
I need this mashup. In fact, I might create it. Maybe under the next Can't Stop the Pop mixtape, there's going to be a mashup of coffee and It's Raining Men. I'll make it happen. So if you want to follow Supersister, they are Supersister_official on Instagram and TikTok. They've been really active on Instagram lately with Mighty Hoopla set and other things popping up. So go follow them. And when you listen to this episode, make sure you tag us and them as much as you can. That would be amazing. And if you want to listen to the song Coffee, and who wouldn't, on a daily basis, you can find it on streaming. And Craig, where can they find us?
Can't Stop the Pop has a website where there are over 500 reviews, including this song, of course, which you can find at can'tstopthepop.com.
We're also on social media. I'm Matt_Atkins9 on Instagram, my personal account. And you can also find us on TikTok at Can't Stop the Pop Podcast, where we basically do this, but in 60-second clips.
I love that. We don't really do that at all now on TikTok, but we do stuff. We just
we do
shake
stuff.
it up. We're doing it. I am can't stop _ the pop on Instagram and TikTok. We're also can't stop the pop on YouTube because we have video content now.
Do subscribe to our channels, get in touch, let us know what you think of the song, what you think of the show. Give us some updates on what you're thinking of the lovely Can't Stop the Pop podcast and your thoughts. Leave us a review, but only a good one, wherever you get your podcasts from.
That would be why we have no reviews. No, we do.
We do.
Thank you so much for listening, and join us next time for more
Can't stop the pop.